How can you tell when you've written and published too many cookbooks? When you start getting them confused and can't find the recipes. You're watching The Bare Pantry Show. My name is Barbara, and for over a decade I've been teaching viewers and subscribers how to cook authentic dishes from my home country of Belize and many other delicious dishes from basic ingredients.
You're watching The Bare Pantry Show.
Guys, I grabbed this book this morning to make this yeast bread for me and Joe. It's called Yeast Cakes. It's my mom's recipe. And after I already mixed up everything, I realized that I made the recipe for two bread. Joe say, what the hell? We're gonna need bread for tomorrow. So I said, okay, I'll make the recipe for 5. That's in this book. So there's gonna be a test in the future, and I'm gonna ask you guys which one of the recipes are in all 3 of my books. And it's that recipe, yeast cakes from my mom. This book has the recipe for 20, this has the recipe for 5, and this has for 2. So now I'm in the kitchen again. I made that video as a reel, the one for 2. I'm in the kitchen again because now I have to redo it because Joe wants some more bread. All right, so it's 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I already set yeast to raise a little while ago, and it was like 4 ounces of warm water, 2 teaspoons of yeast, and then a little bit of the sugar from the allotment of sugar. It's only a tablespoon of sugar. It's not a lot, okay? You can put some salt. I'm not gonna put any salt. Why? Because the butter has salt. So it's 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of not unsalted, salted butter. If you're using unsalted butter, then put a little dash of salt. All right. So we're gonna need milk. This recipe calls for evaporated milk, but y'all know I have trouble with milk, so we're gonna use lactose, and it's 3 ounces. So I'm gonna fill this 3 times because I couldn't find another thing because that stuff is being used there. Let's work the butter in. This is so easy to do. Don't tell me you don't want to put your hand in flour, because I'm gonna give you a million reasons why you should. Put that in there. See, this is what the machine would do. Oh, I need a bread machine, Barbara. No, you don't. You got fingers. Fingers. Okay, I'm checking around, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. 1 ounce of the milk so far. I'm gonna go ahead and fill the other ounce, and remember, 3, right? So you guys keep track for me. This is gonna give us 5 little loaves, or 5 rolls, right, Joe? They're not really loaves, they're rolls. Joe is running camera for me. He doesn't know if he should answer or not because I don't like people to talk from behind the camera when I'm recording. I prefer for them to be on camera. So it's feeling sticky, but see, we have a lot of dry spots. Put a little bit more of the milk. And even though the recipe calls for all this milk, I'm still putting it in a little bit at a time because we don't really want to over wet it. I think we should be good with that though. Come in closer with the camera, Joe, to show them. See how sticky that is? Okay. If it's drier than this, get a little bit of warm water. If it's more wet than this, then add a little bit more flour. Okay? You can't wreck this. This recipe is indestructible. This recipe was given to my mom by one of her cousin's wives. Well, the cousin didn't have a lot of wives, but you know what I mean. 1 wife. Joe, do you know she's still alive? Mm-hmm. Do you know that she's still alive? The lady who gave my mom this recipe. I don't even think she remembers that she gave it to my mom. So my mom's cousin passed away a long time ago, but the wife is still alive. She's like in her 80s or something, living with one of her daughters. I think she only has 1 daughter. It says she's living with one of her daughters. I think she has a lot of boys. All right. You see how quick this comes together, right, guys? Now, this is an easy bread because we're not gonna let it rise. We're not gonna do this thing where you put it in here, cover it up, and let it rise an hour and come back. No, we're gonna cut this apart right now. You know, somebody told me that the quartz has a vibe to it, and I feel like it does because I feel like I'm so happy when I'm in my kitchen now, you know? So we want to cut this in 5. So the easiest way to cut this in 5, first of all, is to cut like a V, right? See the V here? A V. And then put the tail in to make a Y. And then you do this. And then you do this. Did we get 5? We sure did. I saw somebody do that on their channel, some Asian lady. I'm like, Damn, that's kind of smart, lady. So cut the V first, then put the tail end for the Y, and then you're gonna get 5 pieces evenly. Well, as even as you can go. So we're rolling them off. My hand has some butter on it. I didn't go clean it off. That's all right. The butter is because I greased the tray. You need some flour, put it down. See, I just kind of cup it and you roll. And don't worry if you're not really good at that when you first start off with kneading dough. See the smooth top? Make that into a dome. And then you start closing in the bottom, right? So some people prefer to just close in the bottom like this. See how I pinch all that shut? And they prefer to do this, which is what I do sometimes. But you can also do this. And like I was saying, if you're not really great at this when you first start off with messing with dough, don't worry, don't panic. This stuff comes with time and practice, all right? What they say, practice makes perfect. I think practice to be perfect. Like that little girl say on that one show, I'm smarticle. Yeah. Okay. So these are gonna swell big. They're gonna be the size of burger buns, just about. So if you don't want them to swell that big, make them smaller. Maybe you could get 10. You know what I mean? So flatten them a tad, because if you don't flatten them, they're gonna swell up and not spread. Flatten them a tad. And then I did this morning, and I went on my bike ride for like an hour. So when I was gone, the kids lit the oven for me and pushed it in there. Right when I got back, it was baking. So put one there. When you're setting things up on a tray too, like if it's cookies and stuff, you always want to put one on the end, one on the end, and you fill in the middle, and that's how you know the right spacing, okay? So these are little tricks that I think everybody know that I don't ever share with you guys, because I figure everybody knows that, right? But not everybody knows. This is from my friend Cindy. Thank you, Cindy. Woo! Give this an hour, and then when we come back, we'll be baking at 350. Because you need to buy this, especially for the summertime. We don't know if there's any flies in the house, but just in case, we cover everything while it's cooling down, right? So here are the 5 loaves that we got. Was it like 5 loaves and 2 fish in the Bible, Joe? We got 5 loaves, see? And they're kind of like same size. This one's smaller than this one, but see, kind of like the same, because we cut it that fancy way, remember? So let me go ahead and cut this one with my bread knife. Show you guys how the inside look. Ooh, that looks so good. Then I'm gonna do like Joe and get the butter with the sword. Somebody said that to me one time in one of my videos. Oh my God, she used that sword to put the butter on. Let's taste. It's not really sweet bread. But you don't want a bread to be sweet all the time. Especially if you're going to do burgers with it, right? A nice size burger bread. Now, let me give you a warning about this bread. If you leave it for tomorrow, the bread is going to get stiff. No, not tough, not dry, but stiff. And you can usually eat it again tomorrow like this. But honestly, after that, you're going to have to toast it. Because it didn't raise twice, only once. All right? You guys try it, come back and tell me how you like it. This is like my favorite bread besides like baguette, because it's easy to do and it's a good breakfast bread. Came back from the trail this morning, we baked them 2 bread, ate it for breakfast. Oh, it was so good. Anyways, guys, if you liked what I produced here today, go ahead and hit the like button because it's free. Remember that man with the mattress commercial? Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because that's how we grow, and check out my cookbooks. Bye.
This is the Bare Pantry Show.